Recording. Intro. Recording. Intro. Recording. Intro.
You've just recorded a video. You've got lots of cameras recording. You're even recording separate sound. They're all slightly different, running at different frame rates, but they're all recording audio. What are you gonna do? How are you gonna sync all this up? Well, keep watching and I'm gonna show you.
This is the sound from the Osmo Action. So I would say that works pretty well.
Let's drive. So the point I made with that intro is that syncing up multiple cameras with different sound sources can be very tricky. But there is a way to minimize the heartache that you will encounter when you're dealing with multiple cameras that start and stop. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop these cameras recording and then start them again and start and stop the sound recording to see if there is a very straightforward way of syncing it all up when you come to edit it down. Now let's do that. So first of all, turn off the iPhone. And then just let's do them in order. Let's turn off the Lumix G7. Now the only thing I'm recording on is the Osmo Action and the Tascam DR10L. So now I'll turn this one off and it'll all go black for a bit, but don't worry, don't be scared. Right, so now I've only got recording from the audio, but now look, hi, you're back again on the iPhone. We'll switch back on the DSLR. Hello, you're back in action. And then we'll turn back on the Osmo Action. Now we're all recording again. The only thing that the sound recordist could do to really mess us up when we come to sync up stuff is turn the sound recorder off. So I'll do that right now. So now I've got 3 audio sources, but my lav mic is turned off. Now the sound recordist realizes and switches back on, but the main camera turns off. So now I'm left with an Osmo Action and an iPhone and another audio file. So, okay, let's stop everything. This one's now recording again, but the Osmo Action's battery runs out. So everybody resets, and then that one starts recording, then the Osmo Action gets a battery change, and then this one is still recording as well, and then the sound recordist wakes up and starts recording. So we're back in action. You're going to want to use bits and pieces of all that. So I've created myself an editing timecode nightmare because I've got 1, 2, 3 cameras, and the Osmo Action doesn't record time of day. But because all my cameras are shooting roughly within a second or two the correct time and date, I know that I'll be able to sync them up as long as I've done the right sort of file structure. So what I'm now going to do is load this media in, all of it, from all 1, 2, 3, 4 devices, and show you how I would go about syncing it up. First, the manual way, and then after that I'm going to show a little bit of software that's going to make the whole job a lot easier. I turned off all the cameras and thought, oh, I'll load that media in, but I thought this is part of the process. I have got a little hub and it's got loads of different ports. Now, I bought this when I used to have an Apple, but now I'm on PC, but it's still very useful because it's got 1, 2, 3 card readers on it. So I'm now going to just plug that into my laptop and then ingest all the media, and then I'll show you a screen capture of how I sort out all that media and why I do it in that way. You can see I've got iPhone, Lumix G7, Osmo Action, screen captures, and webcam. What we're going to do is we are going to first of all grab a camera. First camera, Lumix G7, absolutely fantastic. What I'm going to do is go into the directory, and there are all the clips that I've recorded so far. So I'm going to copy those to the clipboard and then go back, go to cameras, go to G7, create a folder with today's date. Now, the reason why I use that naming convention for dates is so I can sort by the number. And what I am now going to do is, because I've got them copied to the clipboard, is paste them in. So through the magic of editing, those will copy in, and then that's in the folder with today's date in a subfolder with the camera that it came from. I've got 3 layers of organization just by creating a couple of folders. So the next step is to bring it into Premiere, which I've got loaded up now. All I normally do is create a whole load of folders that look like the file structure on my hard drive. New bin, and we start dragging stuff in. So if I go into rushes, cameras, and then I'll bring in the Osmo Action first. The next camera is going to be my iPhone. Bring those in, select them all, and import them all. So I've got my 3 cameras, 1, 2, 3, and what I'll now do is grab the audio. I'm going to create a new bin, DR10L, Tascam, it's 2019, November, drag those in, open. So having that file structure in Premiere is really helpful because you can clearly see where all your sources of sound and vision are. And the more organized you can be when you've got multiple cameras, the better. When you're syncing up manually, it's useful to have one camera that doesn't start and stop, but I created myself a problem, and it's a very common problem. Cameras start and stop. How do you sort that out? Well, let's go back into Premiere and have a look. What I normally do is go to my Lumix G7 because that's the quality that I want my sequence to be. I will just pick those up and drag those into the sequence, and Premiere will automatically make a sequence for me with the file format of those rushes. So that's brilliant. So everything in this sequence, it's going to be within a 4K frame, and it is also going to be 25p. The way that I would sync up now, if I didn't know I was going to throw this into a piece of software that's going to save us a lot of time, I would listen.
Recording. Intro.
Now you can hear there, recording intro, and it's an audio cue for me, the editor, knowing what section that is. At the end of intro, I'll mark an in, go through to this.
Recording. Intro.
And I can pick that up and drag that onto my playhead. And if I zoom in a bit here, you can see I've done 3 clicks, and you can see I'm only a couple of, 1 frame out. Using those 3 clicks that I do, I always do 3 clicks when I start recording, and that allows me to see those 3 quite simply on the timeline. I can see them as a recurring thing. Or if I'm outside and the cameras are further apart, I'll clap like that, so you get a definite visual waveform that you can use as sort of anchor point. Before you make a single cut in any of your footage, sync it up. Because as soon as you make a cut in it, obviously you lose that relationship with the audio and the pictures. It has a ripple effect. It's up to you as the editor to just fix it, whatever you need to do, whether that takes you a day or whether it takes you, in terms of a program that I've done once that had 27 cameras, it can take a lot longer. Here comes the fun part, using software. Let's save ourselves some time, shall we? So this is the piece of software, it's called Syncaila. I'm currently on the free trial period. So I've created a sequence with everything on it. That includes the iPhone, the Osmo Action, the Lumix G7, and the audio from the Tascam DR10L. Then, very simply, all you do is you take that sequence, File, Export, Final Cut Pro XML.
XML, or Extensible Markup Language, makes it possible to define unique tags in the order in which they occur and how they should be processed or displayed. The elements of XML are very similar to HTML, the code that tells your web browser how to display information from the internet. But XML is a meta language of data description. In this case, the XML contains a hierarchy of nested objects, tracks, media, transitions, timecode, and formatting.
It brings in everything for you, and it tells you here that we've got 21 clips, 3 cameras, and 1 recorder. So we click synchronize, and the magic starts.
Our media has been processed, then repackaged in a new XML. And voila!
The magic has happened. It's done it. It's incredible. That took 2 minutes and 9 seconds. 2 minutes and 9 seconds. That would have taken me hours, like literally hours. That is brilliant. So we now go export XML and it automatically calls it sync up with software synced. So you go save, saves it in the same place. You go into Premiere, brilliant. It's all there. It's all sunk up. And if I have a look, it's matched the waveforms and it's sunk it all up, and that's brilliant. It's cheaper than the next bit of software that I've found, and that is Giant Pluraleyes. Now, instead of having to export an XML or drag it into another bit of software, what you just have to do is you go up to Window, you go to Extensions, you go to Pluraleyes 4, and you click Synchronize. Sync complete. It's done it, it's cracked it, it's gone 1, 2, 3, and the sound. And it's done it, and it's created a sequence, and I can see it on my timeline here. I mean, look at it. It's just taken all those mishmash of start-stop clips from all my cameras. 1, 2, 3. And the microphone, and it's done a really good job. You can sync up stuff so insanely quickly. It's amazing. Now, there is a slight sting to that because it costs about $300, and I don't care. There's some cases where you do just need to spend some cash and get the right tool for the job, and that's this case. And the results speak for themselves, really. So, those are my rambling thoughts about audio synchronization. I hope you've enjoyed it. My next video is going to be about this little beastie. This is the Korg Nano Control Studio MIDI controller, and with it, you can mix on the fly in Premiere. Hello.